Just last night I noticed my largest truncata crossed with a Fipiata had caught at least 4 mice. They just fell in. There was no baiting, no nothing. Just caught them all on its... Hey TikTok, Jeremiah here. Some people were wondering what it looks like after this plant has caught a mouse. So let me cut this open. It's actually very brittle once it dries out, so it's much, much stronger when it's fresh and green. Ooh, and let's see what's inside. Blech. It looks like sardine.
This is why I fill my pitchers with distilled water. These are known as tropical pitcher plants, so they're definitely not native to the environment that I live in. And more often than not, most of the water in the pitchers will evaporate because it gets so hot here. So I just go around, squeeze the pitchers to check to make sure that it's filled with liquid, and then just fill it up. Just a quick video explaining the trigger hairs on the Venus flytrap. There are about 3 trigger hairs per lobe. If you look closely, the caterpillar's tail will trip one of the trigger hairs. And then the trap will tighten as the bug continues to move inside, and that's why you want to feed it live bait. This will signal the plant to start releasing the digestive juices to absorb the nutrients of the bug. And the bug provides nitrogen to the Venus flytrap.
This is a cephalotus, another one of my insect-eating carnivorous plants. Petting them is so satisfying and therapeutic. And their little plant fangs are so adorable. I give them little baby plant boops on the...
I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter, I will not cut my hair.
The last time I removed the spider web from one of my pitcher plants, I found a live jumping spider that was living inside of the pitcher plant. And I figured out a way to live inside the pitcher plant without falling into its trap. So I decided to remove the spider and let it be. So today, as I was filling one of my pitchers, I noticed that another jumping spider, or the same one, came back to occupy the same pitcher. So I think I'm just gonna...
Hey you, welcome to Carnivorous Plant Talk. Let's build a fairy garden with carnivorous plants. First, I covered the glass and used Flex Seal to make my terrarium watertight. After 48 hours, I was ready to add my gravel base layer. I rinsed the rocks with RO water. Next, I added drainage mesh made from window screen, and I was ready to add my substrate made from peat, sand, and sphagnum. I mixed that together with RO water. After a week-long acclimation, it was time to start planting. I got this Sundew variety pack from Predatory Plants. I used moonstone and colored glass to recreate a river for my cottagecore-inspired terrarium. I purchased all of my decorative items from Michael's craft store. I very carefully placed these tiny tree trunks, so that way they would hold up my decorative cottagecore-inspired bridge. To complete the desired aesthetic, I added moss around my plants. Make sure to sustainably source or use store-bought moss. Never remove moss from the wild. And here's an aerial overview of my finished project. Make sure to like and follow to see what I come up with next.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. We actually found them. Yo, this is Darlingtonia, Californica, also known as the Cobra lily, also known as the California pitcher plant. And it's California, no, the West Coast's only native carnivorous plant species. And they are so fucking cool. They have these little translucent windows in them, so when bugs fly in them, they think that they can escape through the top until they eventually fall down this chute and are devoured by digestive enzymes. When I tell y'all, I made my boyfriend drive me 5.5 hours up here and hike for 3 days and almost get fucking mauled by like 2 different bears just so I could fucking take this video. Also, peep this view. Oh, look, here comes Boomy. Hey, Boomy. These can be found in the Mount Shasta region of Northern California, and we asked literally every local for where to find these, and the only good lead we got was somebody who was high out of their mind on mescaline. So yeah, if you were to cultivate these, they would want to mix a 50-50 peat and perlite, distilled water only. Lastly, there's no pride without the king.
Carnivorous plants, plants that eat that catch insects and digest them. They don't really eat them. This is a Drosera. Really cool, sticky little things that come off. And you can see that. Catches bugs. You can see a few little flies there. This is a Sarracenia. These are also called pitcher plants. Oh, by the way, the Drosera I called sundews. I like to use the scientific names because they're just more fun for me, because you learn all sorts of cool names. These are pitcher plants. These have got small pitchers on them. And these guys here are different species. They've got giant pitchers on them. And you notice these things often grow in moss. This is Sphagnum Moss. Maybe talk about that another time.
Excuse me, but I'm gonna have to ask you to stop right there. Because plant matter is harder to digest than animal matter. And I think that might cause your Venus flytrap to rot, just like raw meat.
So you bought a new Venus flytrap from Lowe's. You picked one that's lightly green with new growth, definitely not that. You've repotted it in the right soil mixture. You pruned all of the dead black and brown traps off of the plant. You water it with distilled water only, and I spray twice a day to keep it moist. And the last part is to feed your Venus flytrap something yummy. So the first time feeding a Venus flytrap can be a little bit difficult, as you can see here. With practice, you will get a lot better at catching bugs and feeding your Venus flytraps. To make it easier, you can put the fly...
So loei has a complicated interaction with the tree shrew in Borneo, and it produces this exudate underneath the lid. It's pure loei, that is. And it draws in the tree shrews, and they eat that exudate, and then they reward the plant by pooping into the pitcher, which is kind of gross, but that's food for plants. For most plants, that's what they eat. So when you cross it with truncata, which is one of the biggest of all the Nepenthes, you get this kind of crazy monster plant that has an exudate for drawing in rodents, but is big enough to actually eat them. And so here, this year, this pitcher back here actually caught all on its own a rat or a mouse. We're not really sure what's inside there, but we saw hair floating, and then that's all sunk to the bottom. And you can see it's made this explosive growth, because now it's making all these huge pitchers. And these pitchers, you know, they're like surreally big. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut this off, because it's digested all the soft parts, we think, and gotten a lot of benefit from it.